Appreciate that. It's going to be an awesome week. This is always an unbelievable week, our military appreciation. I mean, I obviously don't get to see everybody, but I can't imagine anybody does it better than Clemson, especially with our history and tradition and Memorial Stadium. So it's going to be awesome. I know we've got a general coming in to speak to the team on Thursday, so look forward to that. But just always a great week, and it's hard to believe we only got 2 home games left. So special opportunities, and this is going to be another one this weekend. So appreciate our crowd last week. I thought it was amazing, especially with the prediction of the rain. And Danny Poole kept telling me it was 80% chance, and I said, well, it's 20% chance it ain't going to rain. Nobody ever talks about that, and so that counts too. So it ended up being a beautiful night in the Valley, and hopefully this will be another great weekend this weekend. But look forward to playing Wofford. You know, Wofford is obviously a local school here, and it'll be a fun day. Hopefully, I'm sure they'll bring a lot of fans as well, and be a fun day. And you know, we've played one of these games every year in state. I think it's been really good for our state, and you know, it's an opportunity for both teams, and so we're excited about it. Looking at Wofford, not really excited about having to stop them. They do a great job, incredibly well coached, and you know, everybody thinks of Wofford and you just think of the option, and they are an option football team, but they have a unique way of getting to it. You know, they don't just line up and, you know, run the triple option. They're mostly in the shotgun, and lots of different personnel groupings, lots of formations, lots of misdirection. They don't always have a dive player, but somehow or another you get a little bit lulled to sleep, because sometimes they look like a spread team, but yet they get to their option principles with the jets, and everything goes through those big backs, 21 and 11, and the quarterback. So basically they're a 3-back offense all the time, but they'll get in multiple personnel groups, whether it be 20 or 12 or 11 or whatever, you know, so just know what they're doing, and force you to be really disciplined, and you can't try to do too much. They don't throw the ball a lot, but you know, they can get some guys open on you in a heartbeat, but they force a lot of space plays, and they got some good guys that can make you miss in space. Both these backs are really good players. That little number 3 they got, he's just tiny, and but fast and quick. You know, and finding him is not always the easiest thing. He's also their punt returner, averages 24 yards a punt return. So just a really, you know, dangerous guy. So just looking forward to it. And defensively, same thing. I mean, but you look at them statistically, I think there's 125 FCS schools. So I always kind of like to see where they rank up nationally, you know, against their peers. And you know, they're 16th in scoring offense. They're 24th in scoring defense. They're the number 2 rushing offense in the country. They're the 13th rushing defense in the country. And they're 11th in the country in total offense and 11th in total defense. So this is a really good FCS team. And so that I know will be pumped up and excited to play Clemson. And for us, it's really just about, you know, playing well and continuing to build the momentum that we've had. I think after 8 games, we've had an excellent season, and you know, we really have played some good football, you know, all year long. And to be 8-0 at this point is where we wanted to go. We're kind of clicking into November now, and you know, that's what we call our championship phase, an opportunity to we're competing for our division. Obviously, we'll have a state championship, and if you can win your division, you get a chance to play for the ACC. And so that's really what we focus on, and whatever comes from postseason comes. But you know, it's an exciting time. I'm proud of our team. I really am. Defensively, you know, this is the best we've been in a long time after 8 games. Not giving up many points, playing with great discipline, playing with a lot of effort. We've developed depth on this football team. We've developed good chemistry on this team. The leadership has been outstanding. And then offensively, we've never had a team. We've never had an offense that's averaged 250-plus rushing and passing, ever. You know, never. And I think us and Oklahoma are the only 2 offenses that that are doing that. And again, you've got a lot of these games where these fourth quarters have gotten away, and we could easily skew the stats even more so than what they are. But we play a lot of guys. That's a part of developing our team. And so I'm just super proud of our staff and these players and what they've been able to accomplish to this point, because it's really hard to win football games and to be able to do what we've done on both sides of the ball. So we're in a good place as we head into November. But, man, everybody's got to be a little bit better, and just a little bit better from everybody, us as coaches, every support person, because, man, the air gets a little colder, gets a little thinner. The higher you climb, competition is tough, and guys get banged up, and you got to have the guts to press forward. And so I'm excited about seeing this team just continue to work. And we had a really good practice yesterday, and I know this is a team that doesn't necessarily match up well with us on paper, but as I always say, we don't play the game on paper. You play the games, and there's plenty of history of FCS teams beating FBS teams. So we just want to just continue developing our team and playing well, and that's our objective for this week.
Coach, what do you remember about that 2011 game against Wofford?
Getting booed coming off of halftime. I don't know, what was it, like 10-10 or maybe 10-7 or something? Maybe we were up by a field goal or something, but getting booed. Everybody telling Coach Morris to go back to high school. Heard that a few times. That's why I shouldn't hire a high school coach. Heard that a couple times. That's probably what I remember more than anything. Oh, I take that back. I remember them having the most open guy in college football history. That big, tall kid, that white kid that caught that ball, he was so wide. I mean, he was so wide open. And he could have walked. He literally backpedaled to catch it and then backpedaled to the end zone for 50 yards. He was so wide open. I do remember that. Probably should have got an ESPY that year for most wide open, wide out. They were tough, man. They were tough. That was a tough day. And they had that big old running back. I can't remember that kid's name. He was a great player. He was a sledgehammer, fullback, running back guy. That's about it. But we won. I remember that more than anything. We won. Played a little better in the second half. Taj Boyd. We were trying to figure out who kidnapped our quarterback. Chad was about to go crazy in the locker room. I don't know what happened. I don't know. The quarterback I don't know. Yeah, he was just going crazy in there. But Taj settled in, and we got it going there in the second half. They played us tough. I mean, that's the way it is. What was Alabama and Citadel last year, right? What were they, 10-10, 14 all? I mean, these games ain't easy. Everybody thinks you just roll out there and win. You got to play well, and especially when you're playing these teams that their scheme kind of neutralizes you a little bit and is advantageous in some of in games like this. So it'll be a good challenge. And again, for us, we just want to go out and play clean football and continue to build momentum.
There were a couple times after the game, since Saturday's game, that a couple guys thought last week of practice was one of the best that you guys have had so far this season. I'm wondering if you agree with that and kind of what goes into
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, I think we've had great practice all year. Really, I thought probably the only week, North Carolina is the only really week that I have any recollection. I thought Wednesday we had a bad practice on defense, and Thursday we had our worst day on offense for a Thursday practice. Nothing alarming, but that just stuck out to me. And then we didn't play very well in that game. But outside of that, we really have practiced well all week. All year. These guys have been awesome. They really have. But last week it was a very good practice. I thought we had, especially defensively on Friday, it was really good. It was really good focus on that end, and guys were excited to play, and we're just getting better. We're getting better. We know more. We're more knowledgeable. We're a young team. A lot of guys have developed over this, from July 31st when we started to whatever it is now, it's just been a lot of development that has taken place in this team, and guys are kind of some guys are kind of over the hump a little bit.
How has Davis Allen performed these past 2 games with 4 snaps, and is he someone that's maybe close to gaining your trust in more situations?
No, he's gained my trust. I mean, I play him any situation. He's took a while to get him healthy, and he missed all of camp basically. So mentally, he had to kind of catch up. But physically, he's an incredibly trustworthy guy. He's got good ball skills. He's a big, strong kid. He's fundamentally really sound, good technique. He had a couple key blocks this past week. Did a great job on our screens and space, covering guys up. He's physical, so he's just a really good football player. He was an athlete. He played defense. He played offense. Obviously, he was a pitcher. He's a good basketball player. His dad was a really good linebacker at Georgia. I mean, he's just got a lot of natural stuff that comes to the table with him, and so. But now that he's played and gotten some experience, he's just moving with more confidence in everything that he does. So really, really proud of him, and that's allowed us to kind of hit the pause button on Jalen just a little bit, because it's just hard to get them all the type of reps that we want. Really, the guy that's kind of changed the plan is Price. Luke Price has really become a good player for us. He does a lot of dirty work that maybe not show up on the stat sheet, but he's a good football player. He's tough, physical. He's incredibly strong, explosive power, and so we just didn't know, because we just moved him in the spring. He was a linebacker, and just didn't really know how he would project and how quickly he would make a transition. But I tell you, Luke has been a blessing for us and worked hard this summer, had a great camp, and so his emergence, JC's done a really nice job for us. I'm really proud of him, and then Luke coming on, and then with Davis coming back, and again Davis just functionally just a little ahead of Jalen, and Jalen has been great. Jalen has been right there. He's been incredibly improved and could easily play. We've played him in 3 games, but where we are right now, we're just kind of holding him a little bit, because if Braden wasn't coming back, then it would be a no-brainer. We'd have to play him. But if we can, that gap's kind of closing between, when Braden gets out of jail to now, that's shrinking. So if we can get by, it'd be really beneficial to our team, but also beneficial to Jalen going forward. So that's kind of where we are, and so we'll see. So we're trying to save that game for between now and December, and be strategic. And when we use that, and he's a couple other guys that are kind of in that same situation that we're trying to be strategic with and see what happens, but. It's a good group, and Davis has allowed us that flexibility.
Rook got in his 4th game this week. Have you guys made a decision with that?
Rook will play. Rook will play as we go on through the season. Just a big body, and I know, again, sometimes you don't get to play some of them as much as you want, but he's just a guy that we feel like we need just to kind of have in there for some depth and just continue bringing him along. He didn't even start playing football till like the 10th grade, or might have been the 11th grade. So he hadn't played a lot of football, so he's just learning every day. And naturally, he's got some really good gifts. He's just a big body. He's physical and disruptive. He's strong, but he's just still learning. But he'll continue to be ready to play as we go.
Not just this weekend, but for Wofford, beating its option offense, but the performance from Jordan and Nyles so far this year, and what they've brought to the table, and what they've got to do on Saturday, obviously, to help out.
Yeah, well, first of all, they both have been good leaders. They've been great for the room. They've been really good for the young guys, and I wish they could have gone through spring, especially Jordan, because he's a little younger, and Nyles has been awesome. And Nyles is coming off back-to-back really good games, very productive, grading very well, just doing a lot of the little things right. He's a really good player, and so he's probably a little under the radar right now, if you will. But Nyles Pinckney is doing a great job. And then Jordan has had his moments, not quite as consistent as Nyles. But Jordan's a third-year guy, and Nyles is a fourth-year guy. So there's still a little bit of a gap there. But Jordan's done some really good things, but just need him to be a little more consistent. But he's a hard worker. His attitude is off the charts. He's been a good leader, but there's more there from him. He's still an improving, learning player, so I'm proud of him. But both those guys have done a really good job.
Tyler Davis has played so well this season. How well do you think he'll handle seeing kind of a different kind of offense this week?
Oh, he'll be fine, because this is, he's disciplined. He's a guy, you give him a job, he's going to do his job. And this is a do-your-job game. This is not one of those stat games where you kind of, get low to do my job, and then I'm going to try to get in on somebody else's job. That'll cost you in a game like this. So Tyler, that's why he's been a starter for us. Incredibly disciplined, and obviously talented, but very knowledgeable, very disciplined. And he'll be just fine. But we do have a lot of young guys kind of playing in their first true option type scheme here. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys respond.
Well, he said that great defense starts at the line of scrimmage. How extraordinary is it that as you've grown those guys up front, that great defense has been built on the back seven?
Yeah, well, I've also been really good up front and bad on the back. And we've had some great players up front around here, but we didn't line up right. We didn't cover guys. We turned them loose, so it don't really matter. You got guys running wide open because you weren't disciplined on the back end. And so to me, it goes hand in hand. I think a good front can get neutralized in a heartbeat if you're not good on the back end. Because they can scheme you up, they can play action you, and if you're not disciplined, and I've seen that. And so, we had that one year where, oh my gosh, we might have been 15. We were kind of dysfunctionally good. We were one of the best defenses in the country, and we were like 110th in big plays given up. We're pretty good up front, but we just, we give up a 50-yard play in a heartbeat because we weren't as disciplined and as detailed as we needed to be. And so it definitely starts there because you can be great on the back end, but if you can't stop the run and do the things that you need to do in the trenches, then you're in for a long day because you can't cover guys forever when you play good people. So I think it goes hand in hand, but this particular year it's been huge because those guys have really come through for us up front. I mean, they really have. I mean, those 5 ends that have gotten the majority of the time have gotten better and better and better. They're improving. They all have their strengths. They all have things they got to get better at and will as they develop as players. And then Nyles has really come through. Obviously, Tyler Davis and Jordan developed a little bit of depth in there. So those guys have kind of been out of the spotlight. Last year, the light was really bright right there, and it's not been as bright, but they've just been doing their job. And it's been really good. It's been strength in numbers. But the back end is kind of where the spotlight is. They have made it all go. It starts with our backers. Cannot say enough about those guys. I mean, it's just been awesome. Isaiah and Skowski, they could probably get player of the game every week. Chad Smith, he's gotten better and better, had his best game. He was our player of the game this week. Mike Jones, Jake, Balin probably had their best game. Kane gotten better and better and better. Balin is really probably kind of a co-starter. I mean, he's at that level. So just really those guys, and then we got grown men in that secondary. I mean, guys that have played a lot of ball, and they're really committed. Muse and Kayvon and Nolan and Denzel and AJ, and DK's has been huge for us. But the guys prepare. They take a lot of pride. But it really starts with those backers setting the tone, and kind of down the middle with Muse and Kayvon. They've just taken a lot of ownership of what we do, and have become the lead. Last year it was kind of led up there, and this year it's led on the back. But it still all goes together, and just super proud of them. Super proud.
You mentioned DK. How have you seen him take on that role this year, and how's he grown into it, and what have you seen him evolve into?
Yeah, it's amazing. He's really like a true freshman. That's how you have to look at him. He didn't play any corner last year. He was all receiver, and he could be a great wideout and made some big plays for us last year. But it was just a situation where, we kind of had a gap, and we had a bunch of guys hurt, and y'all know the story. We just threw him over there, and it was like, you just threw a fish in water. He was gone. So the rest is history. But it's really amazing how quickly he's transitioned. But he's still not as detailed as he needs to be. He's not as disciplined as he needs to be. But man, he is pretty amazing for a first year guy. He's got an awesome skill set for the position. But the biggest thing is he's got a mindset. He's got the toughness. He's got the confidence, and just really proud of him. But he's come through in a big way. And then Mario has really developed into a really good player. And so, we've got probably those three guys we kind of look at as starters with their ability, and then Sheridan and Booth and Lee Anthony, developing guys that have given us really quality depth there.
What is Denzel's status, and do you expect Xavier Thomas to play on Saturday?
Denzel, it wasn't his AC, just a kind of a bruised shoulder. So he's probably day to day. We'll see how he does today when we put the pads on. And same thing with Xavier. He looked pretty good last night. It was the first time that they really ran him. You get into these concussion protocols. Everybody responds differently. It's not it's just not something that you just don't mess with. And he got rocked pretty good by John in practice in our inside drill, and it was he got it shook him. It was on like a Wednesday or something. So he was out that game, and then he just wasn't able to go last week. He just couldn't. You got to be able to practice and go out there and put the pads on, and he couldn't do it Tuesday and Wednesday. Not that he couldn't do it, he didn't qualify to do it. He probably could, and there's probably a day and time where he probably would have been out there doing it. The game has changed. I got knocked out in Bryant-Denny one time, literally knocked out cold right in the temple on a dig route, and I woke up in the training room back at the football facility. I don't remember anything. I was back at practice in about 2 or 3 days. It was just a different deal. But we were pretty stupid then too. We just know more. We didn't wear seatbelts back in the day either. I used to ride on the back of my dad's truck, 2-seater truck, lawn chair on the back. 80 miles an hour down the interstate everywhere we went, sitting in a lawn chair. I was pretty stupid too. But that's just kind of. So you just never know. And so it's just you have to qualify to get back into practice. And they're not going to let a guy play a game if you can't go out there and demonstrate that you can, do the physical part. And so he just couldn't pass the protocol last week in time to play. And then, last night we're in shorts and, so first time we've been with him because they're off on Sunday. So he ran and did what he needed to do. So today we'll see where he is. I don't know if he's going to be out there in green and I don't know. How's he going to do? How's he going to respond? I have no idea, and really don't even ask. I just we'll meet in the morning, and Danny Poole will give us we go over injury report every morning, and he'll let us know the results of Tuesday, and we go from there. But I'm hopeful, but nothing guaranteed.
What can you say about Justin Foster replacing him?
Justin's been great. Justin has been tremendous. He's been productive. He's coming off really back-to-back games where I think he's really played well. He's been one of our leaders coming into the season. We knew he was going to have a good year. He did some good things for us last year as a sophomore. He's one of those guys that played as a true freshman, but probably didn't play as much as you'd like, but we kind of had to have him. And, it's paying off for him this year. He's just a very steady guy, and his confidence has grown. He's playing faster. He's strong, heavy-handed. He had to transition too. He was a linebacker, so learning a position. So I'm really proud of Justin. And then Logan Rudolph. He's you just can't have a more steady guy. That game this past week. He was like a pig in mud. Things crashing into each other every snap. That's Logan. He's just built for that, and he just maximum effort all the time, does what he's supposed to do, and really proud of him. And then KJ, I thought really took another step this past week. Can't say enough about KJ. He's getting better. He's learning. Going to be a great player. And then same thing with Maskell. Didn't grade as well as I'd like him to grade, but he's on the right track. And so it's a good group, and we get Xavier back in there, man. It's just makes us better. And so the fact that he's been out a couple games, that group's had to kind of really step up, and that's just thankfully nobody else has gotten hurt. But when we get them all back healthy and everybody back in the pod there, we got a pretty productive group. Really pleased with them. Ski's done a great job with them.
Coach, I know you rave about the game day environment. I'm curious, you get to that Saturday, how much time do you just take in to soak in the environment as you're trying to prepare your team to play with us?
Oh, I soak it in every single time. We get 7 days. I ride by the stadium every day. It's empty most of the time, right? So we get 7 days, so it's awesome. The Tiger Walk is unbelievable. Just the intensity of that and the excitement, and I just have a great appreciation for our fans. A lot of these folks travel from a long way in and out, and that's why we come through campus. We could easily just shoot down and hang left on perimeter and come on down, but we go through campus, and because it's just, I like for our team to see the tailgates and to see the kids playing and see people. It's just a blast. Our fans are awesome, and so I soak it in every single time. Coming into the game, passing Max, seeing cars lined up, and we have to get off to the other side, and police bring us in across. It's just people lined up in traffic and people walking. We come up now, we get off up there because they're redoing the road, so we're having to go up to 93, and there's people walking from down there by the Tiger Mart, all the way. And it's just awesome. And then of course, just, every time you come around the stadium, it's just amazing. It's an unbelievable experience every single time. So I try to soak it in all the time, and then get on about our business.
From where Xavier was when the concussion first happened, you've seen him make steady progress, or how has he kind of reacted since?
Yeah, I'm not on the field. He's with Danny Poole and them, but yeah, he's made a lot. Oh yeah, he's made tons of progress. So hopefully he'll be able to go this week. But if they decide to hold him another week, well, that's what they decide to do. We don't really have any say in that.
Coach, what are some of the challenges of scheming for an option offense, especially when it's something that you're really only going to face maybe once or twice a year?
Well, I think it's fun. That's what makes college football unique and really challenging because you see so much diversity, whether in the defensive structures that we play. Same thing in offense. I think in the NFL it's much more cookie cutter. It's just so much carryover and similarities from week to week. And you only got whatever 32 teams or whatever they have. And now you got all these different teams, and it's just, many different brands and styles of play. I think that's what makes it fun and challenging and unique. So it's good. But it's something that you try to prepare for, not just this week. We do a lot of pre-study in the springs, and especially when coaching changes and things get settled in, and and studying maybe where some of the coaches came from and so forth, and then our summer scouting. So we try to have a little bit of a base, so you're not starting from ground zero. And then our support staff's always a week ahead of us to kind of get us up to speed on Sundays when we move on to the next team.
I'm sure you saw the highlight over the weekend of Deshaun Watson kind of play of the weekend getting kicked in the face and still delivering the game-winning touchdown. Does anything he do still surprise you at all?
No, he's amazing. I mean, he's a guy you better get on the ground, as he's going to make a play. He's amazing, and I've enjoyed text with him beforehand. I was messing with him, telling him watch out for Klee, and but it was really cool just watching all those guys play, and that's really one of the most gratifying things is seeing your former players do well. Not just guys going in the NFL, but seeing some of our guys that come back. I saw Gift Timothy yesterday. Big Gift came through here, and he lives out in Houston, and he was in town going up to Spartanburg with his job, and so I love seeing our former players. Later on in life being successful, and it's certainly fun to see them continuing to play the game at the highest level, and see so many guys doing well. And that was a lot of guys. It was pretty cool. I think President Clements went out there for the game, and we had one of our staff, Maddie. She went out there and got some good pictures and some video, and so it was a pretty cool moment for all those guys. And then of course Renfro, gets his first touchdown. That was awesome to see that, and especially with he and Deshaun, playing against each other. So a lot of good memories. I'm sure those guys had a fun time, chit chatting, and that's pretty cool because they're obviously opponents now, and but they always will have that bond. And even some of the guys that didn't play with each other, a guy like Reeder, he didn't play with Trayvon, but they all know each other. That's a pretty unique thing about sports in general, but certainly Clemson.
You said you're going to have a general come in and speak to the team. How do you see the players and maybe some of the newer guys kind of embrace the whole military appreciation?
Well, I actually asked yesterday in our team meeting. I asked how many of these guys have family in the military, and it was like probably half the room, went up. It's pretty easy. We wear and they get fired up to wear the purple. That's the only time I let them wear that, and that's been a tradition for us, and so that'll be a really cool thing. But they love it. I mean, again, it's the new guys coming in here. They don't know. They'll figure it all out as we go through this week. But the guys that have been around here, they have a really great appreciation. And so everybody's got to figure out who's going to run the flag down. So I kind of let them take ownership of that. We got a lot of, Chad Smith's dad's he's at the Pentagon now. He's been in the military forever. Justin Ross's mom, Putnam's dad, I think he's a lieutenant. So, I mean, we've got lots of military on this team. And so somebody will run the flag down for us. Last year it was Daniel Boyd, who's one of our grad assistants, and he's served in 2 or 3 different tours over there. So we'll see who they want to run down with it this time. It's always a good week.
Some of the players mentioned Logan Rudolph as being quite the character in the locker room, and also some video presentations he's been putting out for those guys to enjoy. Can you expand on his personality a little bit?
Yeah, he is dry. He's very dry, but hilarious. I mean, literally hilarious. He just has this very serious demeanor to him all the time. He's very much about his business. And but he is absolutely hysterical because he's creative. Y'all probably remember his commitment video when he's out there chopping a tree in jorts, and so we have some fun. We come in in fact, he made the screen yesterday. Every Monday we do a kind of a fun video to kick off our Mondays, and he made the video yesterday, and then of course he has an alter ego called Coach Stiff, So the past few games we've been calling Coach Stiff up to address the team in post game, And that's been a lot of fun, call them up and it'll be like, well, man, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Something crazy like that. That's, that's kind of, and he did some crazy recruiting video making fun of the recruiting process as Coach Stiff, with his little glasses and, talking about, yeah, buddy, it's been 24 hours since I last talked to you. Just wanted to make sure you slept well and, and you didn't forget about me or something, whatever. And it was so funny, and that's just random stuff like that. And so the guys, they get a kick out of Logan. But he's a ball of intensity, and you just don't see that coming from him. But he's got this whole other side where he just is so funny. So we've had a little fun with him, with Coach Stiff, past few weeks.
What did he say to the team after the Boston College game? Was that the Rome bit, or was that something?
I think that was the win in Rome, do as the Romans do, and I think, remember, who did we play before that? Louisville game. Yeah, I can't remember what his spiel was for that one. It was something about still not quite ready to offer you a scholarship or something. I can't remember. He went on about his spiel, but he just random, total randomness. But the guys just die laughing every time. So it's good.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, his brother played pretty well last night too.